Okay. So let me just specify this really quickly, and then you guys can ask for clarification. Any volume that you guys want to have paid out through the M plan during this month will pay out through the M plan for the month of July. Any volume that you guys would like to take from the M plan to put over into the Jamberry plan to use for qualifications and for pay in Jamberry, we will do that. So Tara, you've got a team specifically that you're building for that's in the M plan that's there. That'll pay out through the M plan as normal, second Monday following the month. The Jamberry volume that you'd like to take, because you would like to take some of your personal cells or your personal volume to take over to Jamberry to qualify you for that, that will pay. That will, you can either use it for qualifying volume in the Jamberry plan, or you can put it over there for commissionable volume. So what we would like is everybody that has there, and we've got 10 days to do this after the close of the month, to figure out everybody who wants to have their M volume count in the M plan or the M volume count in the Jamberry plan. We can make that work. Absolutely. Hey, Connie, it's nice to see you again. Connie did a fantastic job on the corporate training call, everybody. She was fabulous. So she had them laughing and crying, and she even got Richard to do a pedicure while we were on the call. It's awesome.
So Ryan, so we can go individually, and if they want all the volume, like if they have 15 separate pods of people in M, take their volume to Jamberry and then put our VCV to those volumes?
Yes.
So you're gonna have to explain that to Lester, because we have him
we just need to know who's who, right? Like, so yeah. Heather, you reached out, I think it was yesterday or the day before, and was asking that, right?
Yeah.
I know that I've had Kara and Kelly had reached out, and I apologize for not getting back. So all of those, we just need to know who you guys want and what volume you want where, and we'll make it happen. If we don't hear anything, then it's going to pay out where it's at, right? So we can do that. So Christy, the best way, and a great question, how do we effectively let you know, is can we please, if you could send an email, I'd like you to send it to copy 4 people on the email so that we don't lose it. Lester at mnetwork.com, support at mnetwork.com. Stacy, is it just Stacy? Stacy, is it Stacy or Stacy Sova? Is it just Stacy at mnetwork.com?
Yeah, that gets forward to the new one. We all have new ones now, but Stacy at mnetwork forwards to the new one.
Great. Yeah. And then Ryan, so those 4 emails should be all in the same email, and then we'll do that and just say, hey Lester, I was just on a call with Ryan and Stacy, and they said that we needed to let you know, here's my list of people that all have M volume. I don't, that volume needs to be moved into the Jamberry tree to get paid on for that one. Thank you, Lisa, for typing those all in. I appreciate it. You're a lot nicer than that Melissa girl. Okay, so I'm just sitting here looking at, so 6 days to hit your bank account from the M wallet, that seems insanity. Like
Ryan, it is so bad that I even called, because we're used to transferring money onto the prepaid Jamberry card and it being instant. So I actually did that at the store, went to swipe, and it got denied, and I called, and they said it takes 24 to 48 hours to load on the card that you guys give us, and then up to 6 days if we transfer it to our banks. It took 3 days to get to my bank.
That's the very first time, because I have an account that I do test things with. I pushed funds to that account this morning, and this afternoon it was sitting in my account. So I don't know if that's a first time or if that's after a while, but that seems crazy to me. But we can definitely make that work. So Heather, you're getting on a plane, so you're going to ask a quick question.
Yeah, so can you tell me if, okay, because of the CV or how the QV is awarded for Jamboree products, is there going to be a change from how we see it on our M site? Because if people are looking right now at having the qualifying volume, like needing 700, if it's 200 in PV on our M site, is it going to show as 200 in QV on our Jamboree site?
Correct me if I'm wrong, Stacy, but it would transfer over to as retail sales for the qualifier, right? So it's not going to transfer over.
Over as QV. We're putting PV and QV equal, so we awarded that appropriately. So if it was 30 PV for M, we're going to give 30 QV.
But I thought, shouldn't it be qualifying volume? Shouldn't that be on your retail sales because they're being charged the retail price point?
You know what? I'm sorry. Ellen has the spreadsheet. I don't have it in front of me.
So the number that shows up as PV on the M site, is that equal to what the QV will be? It's not going to be reduced because if you bought it,
it's not going to be reduced.
Okay.
The question is if it's going to go up, if it's going to be based on the retail price point, because you guys used retail price for your qualifying volume, correct?
Just one. Yes, just
but
one. But
they paid wholesale because they bought it on the M side, Ryan, unless it was a retail customer.
So it should still be the $39.95 though, right? If we're doing it based off of that, it shouldn't be 30 PV. It should be based off the $39.95, right?
Yeah,
I just want to make sure we don't have to do any math with tomorrow being the end of the month. Like if it says 200.
If it says 200, it is for sure.
It should come in at least 200 when it moves into the Jamboree QV. Okay.
Yes.
Okay, I have to go get on a plane. I'll watch the recording later. Thanks, guys.
Okay, no problem.
Okay, bye.
Okay, thanks. Have a safe flight. So, so Nikki, when you're talking about, so let's just get all of the pay card questions out of the way if at all possible. So Nikki's asking, as the international limit to transfer is a bit high for girls who rely on everything that they earn. So that's because in those markets we're collecting in US dollars and we're paying in US dollars. And so we're getting everything set up that when we move everything over, in Australia, you'll be charged in Australian dollars and you'll be paid in Australian dollars. In the UK, you'll be charged in Great Britain pounds and you'll get paid in Great Britain pounds. So right now, it's because we collect in US funds, we're paying in US funds, and you're probably talking about the international transaction fees. That all goes away when we get everything set up so that when we're all on the same system. Does that make sense, Nikki?
Yeah, but it wasn't about the international transaction fees. It was that when people get paid commissions, I think it was, maybe Nick Wright can answer this correctly. But so for girls who go on the M plan, they get paid commissions, say they only get paid $20 or something like that. To transfer it to their bank or card, they need to have it at a certain amount before they can actually transfer any money. It might not be a huge amount. It was like $40 or $60 or something like that. But, we've got a lot of girls that they get paid. They expect to be able to take that money out straight away. But it has to be over a certain amount before they can even access it.
Okay. Well, we can look into that too, because we have the ability on the corporate side to adjust those volumes on what that is. I think we set some of those volumes a little bit lower because we wanted to or a little bit higher because we didn't want people losing a ton of their money. Because a lot of people like mine, right? Like my account is set up so that as soon as funds hits the account, it automatically forwards to my bank account. That's the reason why I'm getting them there the same day. And so we didn't want them to get dinged international transaction fees if anybody did have it set up there. So we can adjust the amount of the payout, so on and so forth. So we can either keep the same pay card that you guys currently have with Hyperwallet, or we can switch to the M1, or if there's another one that we're evaluating that looks at like quicker payment stuff. see. Okay, so Rachel, yeah, if you don't have a team with M, we don't have to send an email to have our QV moved, right? Rachel, do you have any volume with M, like qualifying volume there that you need to move over? So will you just, and you want it moved over, right? You want that qualified. Will you just send an email so that we do that? So yeah, when in doubt, send an email just so that we make sure that that gets taken care of if that's okay. Let me just go through some of these emails. The math is going to get a lot easier, guys. This month it's going to get a lot better. We don't have to worry about this. This is the last time of going through this headache. I don't think it was only Double Dippers they had to email. Yeah, sorry, you answered that, Tara. Thanks. Just send an email. Okay. Pay quicker. Yes. Okay. So any questions on the pay card? Speak now or forever hold your peace. We are going to talk comp plan here in just 1 second. Any questions in regards to volume on the M side that's going to be moving over to the Jamboree side or vice versa? As soon as Emily, or who was that asked about Lester, email Lester to get a wallet account. As soon as you generate commissions in our system, it automatically generates an email for you. So I would have thought that you would have had one of those already. If you haven't, in your, let me just pull that up really quickly. The email link for that is, sorry. If you go, and I'll just copy this really quick, this link. If you guys click on this link, it's just www.i-payout.com. Oh, that's the management one. Hang on. That one's mine. Sorry. Let me just find another one here. Okay, sorry. So if you go M Network, sorry, use the second one I'm sending you. So it's just mnetwork.global.ewallet.com, and then forgot your username or password the very first time, and you can go in and set up an account, and that'll make that work for you guys. So you shouldn't have an issue with that. For the month of August, however, we are going to be paying with this system. Obviously, we'll try to make it a lot simpler and easier for you guys to get funds out. My contact there, Natalia, is fantastic. We never get complaints from our members on the e-wallet system. So if you guys are having issues, like, we would want to know what that is there. For those of you who had to send in passports or bill of proof, how long did you wait after? It should be approved within 24 hours. And here's something that I think that you guys can appreciate from a business perspective. And this is, not only do we use that provider because they can pay in over 200 currencies around the world and collect in 200 currencies, but probably the biggest one is at any given moment in time, you can log into your back office and you can grab your tax records. And one of the things that we're going to be focusing on by the end of this year, it's probably going to be after, either at our convention or shortly following, is we're going to go in and start teaching taxes and teaching people how to manage and budget and do certain things with taxes. And one of the reasons why we use iPay specifically is because at any moment in time, you can go in there and print out your taxes. So if you wanted to do your taxes monthly or quarterly or annually, you have the ability to do that, and you don't have to wait on corporate. Whereas before, with Jamboree, with Hyperwallet, Jamboree had to send out in the US 1099s, or in other international markets, you had to wait for corporate to send that out. Like, I'm talking December 31 days in December, right? At midnight, like New Year's Eve, right? At New Year's Eve at 12:01 a.m., you can log in and print out your tax forms and have that right there and available. So Lisa, TaxBot, there's a lot of good things that we have that will be able to do that. If you're using TaxBot currently, it'll work exactly with that. You can take your e-wallet system and upload it either. I would suggest you can upload it or link it to the iPay. I would suggest just linking it to your bank account and having the funds just go directly into your bank account and having it show up there, but you're happy to do that as well. So anyway, that's the main reason why we use them. So it's fantastic. You guys will love it. They handle all of the tax situation. They handle, like I said, 200 currencies. It's awesome. You guys will absolutely love it. So, okay. So Tara, funny. The reality is I want to get to the point where we're showing people that they're actually, even if they're not making money through the pay plan, which everybody will, but if they're not making what they want to make through the pay plan, that they're actually making more money than what they're spending just because of the tax benefits of having a home-based business. And like at a minimum, you should be making $3,400 a year at a minimum, just with the tax advantages of having a home-based business. And so we need to teach people that, it's not a $25 Style Box subscription that we're in this for. Like there's other advantages here. Like at a minimum, $3,400 a year, you should be making off of just having a home-based business from a tax perspective, and then income and everything else on top of that. So anyway, sorry. I'll get off my soapbox. Any questions? Any more questions about the Jamberry M Pay for July? Any questions about the payment cards? What was the other thing we just finished with? Any other questions? Okay. Stacy, was there anything that you guys talked about before Connie and I got on the call that we need to go back and revamp?
No, we were just trying to figure out the pay. Like, I didn't know that we would have the option to go either or. When I was talking to Lester, we were going to go one way or the other. Yeah. So I was trying to get a consensus vote on which way it was going to be. So if we can do both, then we'll just figure it out. I'll be there Wednesday afternoon.
Okay. I was just trying to think. Yeah, I'm in the office on Wednesday. It was Thursday. I get to come see Brittany. Brittany, we're going to hang out. I get in at I want to say 1 o'clock, I think. I'll send you my flight stuff. So anyway.
It's crazy. So
yeah,
sad.
I know. I was thinking that it was next week, but the following week is the cruise. So anyway, we got a lot to do. Okay. So I want to apologize. When I was at the warehouse last week, when Stacy and I was there, I was under the impression that everything had shipped. Everything hadn't shipped. The trial 30 packs. So today we packaged and shipped everything out because they were just slammed over at the warehouse getting the rest of the Style Boxes and everything out. And so I think every Style Box shipped today. They have a bunch went out last week, but then everything shipped today. And so every 30 pack has gone out. I know that the Soul is still showing as back ordered in the back office right now. I'm going to ask that we allow that to be there just for another day or so. And I know it's month end. I know it's frustrating. I just want them to ship all of those orders, because what happened was, and Connie and I was just talking about this on the last call, it's going to be a little bit clunky. And so what happens is that there were 30 packs that shipped prior to 30 packs that were ordered on the 5th of July, which is frustrating. But what happened is when the when the 30 got in stock, they printed the orders that day and then picked them and then didn't pick the other orders or whatever, for whatever reason. And so I don't want there to be a stopgap that the new orders that come in after the fact go. And so those ones will be shipping. And I believe that by the end of this week, that every order that arrives at the warehouse with the exception of Nail Art Studio, but every order that is placed by 3 p.m. Mountain Time will start shipping the same day. And there's no exceptions to that. Like we're getting all of we did maintain, I think there was like 27 people at the warehouse, and I think we ended up with 16. Don't quote me on that. I think there was 16. Stacy, does that sound about right? I think there was 16 people that we were able to maintain. We've hired 3 new people. Lester's now moved over there to the warehouse. And so we're going to get everybody running on the same system, but every 30/30 pack went out the door today. I've seen it myself, and even Emily, I saw yours today. Tara, I seen yours today. The ones that I seen that I recognized, I put a little note on the box, but every one of them went out today. So that's there. Okay, so the volumes from call-in orders are being added. What call-in orders are you talking about, Stacy?
The phone orders, I think they were mostly international.
Okay.
And so that volume's been tracked on a spreadsheet, and Dylan's manually entering those.
Okay. So, Nikki, when you say that you're 2 weeks behind, in Australia, you shouldn't be 2 weeks behind. Is that M orders or is that Jamberry orders? Nikki, if you could answer that.
Sorry, I was just unmuting myself. So the Dash update said it was like they were up to the 16th. And so
Which orders? I'm sorry.
Jamberry orders as well. So I spoke to my girls this morning. Some of them are not 2 weeks behind. They're at least a week behind, though, of things just sitting back.
Brian, what that is that's the update Megan gets daily from Stephen, and Stephen tells him what day orders are being worked on in the various warehouses in here.
But there's no reason why the Australia warehouse should not be up to date. Like, is there? So, okay. So I'm going to reach out to Patrick at FDM tonight, and I'll find out what's going on, because there's no reason any of those orders, UK orders, Canada orders, Australia orders, US orders, if it's a Jamberry order in the warehouse, there's no reason for any of those not to be up to date.
Yeah, I was going to say it's really bad in Canada still. Nobody's getting their orders, so nobody's ordering because nobody's getting their orders.
I just checked. My girls are saying they've got orders between the 20th and the 24th that are still just sitting as packslips and haven't moved.
Yeah, I can pull up the hold on, I can pull up the Dash post. So Megan gets those numbers, Ryan, from the Stephen.
And same with Canada. Those are processed in the US. They're processed in the warehouse here. So why are those not up to date is my frustration.
And another thing that's happening, I don't know, you might want to be alerted of this, but replacement orders, they are replacing the wrong orders, and people are getting like repeat orders over and over and over again and not getting the proper replacement orders. So people are like, this is fun, but I don't need 18 of whatever I'm getting. I want my life.
So when you say replacement orders, though, is this because there was some orders that were packed?
Yeah, I mean, it was a cluster, right?
They were going to have the GST or whatever. Because is there two issues here? Like, I just want to understand the situation before I start.
I don't know. I don't know what the issue is. I just know that, like, there are still orders from May that have not showed up. But then there's, like, repeats of some orders.
That doesn't even make
I know
sense.
personally for me, I have lots of VIP customers that ordered during that big sale in May. They ordered everything. So they made like 3 or 4 orders, and they'll get like 3 copies of one of their orders and then none of their one order. So
explain to me, how are they contacting to get the orders? Are they submitting a ticket? Are they calling in?
I did it for them. And then they're getting, and some of them, they were just like auto repeat, like reproduced. Like for a very long time, I'm not going to lie, I completely ignored this whole situation and just was like, things will show up. And then after a month and a half and things were not showing up, but then all of a sudden it seemed like this big backlog of orders started moving, but they were like repeat orders, which obviously concerns me because that's money out our door. And then things that aren't showing up. So some of the same customers getting like 2 to 3 copies of one order and none of like, let's say their second and their third order.
Stacy, will you send James an email tonight and Steve?
Sorry.
No, it's fine. Yeah.
I feel like some of it is because we have no base coat and top coat. So they're just like, just keep sending them other shit until we get this stuff in.
Yeah, but I back order that stuff and send out the stuff that they ordered.
Yeah.
That's the part that's frustrating me because like it when I walk into the warehouse and they're like, every order is shipped, we're good, there's no issues. And then I'm talking to you guys and there's orders that haven't shipped since the 21st of July or orders since the May. Like that is a little
these are May orders. So,
but they've received a shipment, but they have not received their entire shipment. They just keep receiving the same crap over and over again.
Yeah, and there's only so much of some of these things that people need.
What do you want me to send them, Ryan?
I want to know every order that is sitting in our warehouse in any one of our international markets that is not shipped yet. Even if it was placed today, I want to know tomorrow morning what has not shipped.
Like you should look in my order history if you can access my workstation, look at my order history, how many repeated orders of the exact same thing have gone out. It's crazy. And I have no way of knowing if people have received them or not because the tracking's not updated.
Can you screenshot that to me tomorrow? Because I'm going to take it over
can.
to the warehouse and use it as a learning experience.
And none of the tracking's updated. So I'm having to go to the customers and ask them if they've gotten it or not or what's happening.
The tracking should be uploading now. There's no reason why tracking should not be uploading.
No, it's all just like dead.
Okay. So US is terrible, so we're not getting any US orders. Like if there's like, here's what helps me. If I can get order numbers and examples rather than US sucks, international sucks, I'm not getting this, I'm not getting that. Like that will help me like, hey, this customer placed an order on Lisa. The girl placed an order on July 21st. She got a notification on the 25th it was shipped. When she looks on the tracking, it's still sitting in the warehouse. Is that a 3 and 30 one? Like if you could give me that person's name, I can look up the order number. I just want to know, I want to figure out like, here's the issue. Like, let's not look at it at broad brushstrokes. Let's look at it and say, Amy Smith placed an order on July 21st. It showed on the 25th that it was shipped, and yet it's still showing that it's sitting in the warehouse. Like, I want to look at that order, and I want to walk into the warehouse, and I want to say, here's the order number. It was placed here. We collected money for it. Why is it still sitting here in the warehouse? And then understand, like, maybe it's something as simple as they didn't have the outside shipping box, which was a big issue with some of the 3 and 30s, right? So we go get a shipping box and we ship it. Tell somebody about it, right? Like we use that as a learning thing so that we can create SOPs, standard operating procedures, so that when something happens, people know how to follow it. And again, right? Like I'm not like frustrated at you guys. I'm just frustrated because they're still trying to learn our standard operating procedures at the warehouse and forget a lot of some of the things that they were doing in the past. And we're trying to blend some of that. So if I don't know there's an issue, like the style box or the 3 and 30s, I you know what I mean? Like, yeah. So send me examples. If you'll send me examples, like Brittany, screenshot that and I'm going to walk in there tomorrow and ask them why are they, I'm being nice. I stopped swearing after like Scott got out of my life. Why are they still shipping you the same products over and over and over again without shipping you what you actually ordered? Why? Like, just tell me why. And then we'll figure it out and we'll fix it. But I don't need it. Sorry, Christy. I'm not on Facebook all day, every day. I apologize. I know you guys aren't either. Like, just send me an email, ryan@mnetwork.com, and I can do that. That'll be a lot easier than me scrolling through all of the Facebook things, like, and be specific.
And copy me too, so I can try to help. I'll try to help, Ryan.
Yeah.
We'll create a document and just send you one email so you don't get 15 emails with this, but let us create a document for you and I'll just send it to you.
Perfect. Thanks, Emily. Yeah. And sooner the better. Like there's nothing that makes me more like I have very small list of pet peeves, but like one of them that's like at the very top is somebody places an order and it doesn't ship. Like that drives me insane, because that is just like, we're responsible for three things really. We collect your order, we ship your order, and we pay commissions. Like that is our core competency. Like if we can't do that, then we have no competency. Like that like those three things, and then everything else from marketing and branding and R&D and product development, all of that other stuff comes secondary to those three things. Being able to take your order, being able to ship your order, and being able to pay you for your order. That's it. Like those are the things that are there. So sorry, I'll get off my soapbox, but there's nothing that frustrates me more than not shipping an order. Like there's no excuse for not shipping an order. All of the vendors have been paid. We have shipping boxes. We have inventory. There's no excuse not to ship an order at all. Sorry. Okay, shipping. Can we get off of shipping for a little bit before my blood's starting to go up a little bit? Sorry. I apologize. Sorry. Shipping, but yeah, specific orders. What else, guys, before we get into comp plan? Hey, Lisa / Melissa, I love that. I never saw a list from Nick. Did that get sent, and if those orders all been fulfilled? I'm hoping the answer to that is yes.
I believe that she was working directly with James on that.
Okay. And you haven't heard the contrary to that?
Nope.
Okay.
I can check.
Okay. Again, I don't want you guys handling customer service stuff like ever again. Like, we do have toll-free numbers now in all of the international markets. And have you heard the latest on tickets, Stacy?
I didn't. James didn't update me on tickets today. I believe they're working on them from the 26th. Is the update I had this morning.
So all tickets have been completed through the 26th as of
up to the 26th. I think they're working on the 26th today, which was that Thursday.
When you say tickets, do you mean put through the ticket system or via email?
Well, I think email counts as a ticket, doesn't it? They track it as a ticket that way.
So something is wrong, because the ticket system is taking forever, days and days for anyone to get responses, but they're getting faster responses via email. So I don't know if the ticket system is just disabled and they're just checking it like second-handedly.
Didn't they create a new ticket system? So the old ticket system that you guys were using through Jamberry, I think
they provided new email addresses, but if it's a different ticket system, the old ticket system needs to be shut down or disabled. Yeah, and then the new stuff needs to be put up there, so that, because we're used to going to the dash and placing a ticket. That's what we've trained our girls to do.
Yeah.
And if that's not working, we either need to disable it or make it work again.
The old tickets were closed out. It was my understanding that was up and working. I've just slacked James, so I just need to give him a few minutes to get back to me to let me know.
We have a new ticket system, so the old ticket system needs to be shut down.
Mm-hmm. But the new one should be up and working.
Correct.
Yeah.
So that could be, again, another point of frustration is if
Nikki's
somebody-
saying her girls are getting replies from tickets.
What's that?
Nikki said her girls are getting replies from tickets.
Using the old system or the new one?
It would be the new one. It would, because the old one was shut down. So he probably, he hasn't responded. I think he hasn't responded yet. He's usually pretty quick though.
Okay.
But if people can still put a ticket into the system, you guys might not be getting it, but they can actually still go through that process. Or they could have, as of this time last week.
The new, okay, he just got back to me. The new one would be like, we're answering tickets that are submitted. Can you give an example of one that's not been answered? So
Okay.
it's the normal process.
So when we go to our dashboard and go to support and submit a ticket, that's the old system, which I thought James said we weren't using anymore. We just do emails. So I just need to be clear on that because people can still use that ticket system. So are those going into Never Never Land and we need to shut that down, or is that going in the new system?
It's going to the new system, and they answered 200 tickets today that came in through the normal ticket process.
So
From the dash that we've always done.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep, that's what he just said.
So Lisa, when you said that it's taking days and days for people to respond to those tickets, is that from like weeks ago, or is that somebody like more recently within the last week or two that said it's taking weeks for
Someone said they put in a ticket 4 days ago and hasn't had anything, but that was the weekend.
So who's that name? Do you mind hearing that name right now?
Maureen Swanson. I'm just messaging her to see if I can get the ticket number.
Maureen Swanson, will you ask James about that one? Stacy?
Yep.
And again,
Thank you. I just hope she hasn't closed it out though, because we asked people to close them out today if they weren't getting anything back or if it had been addressed anywhere.
He's asking for examples.
Okay.
so Christy Foltz sent one on July 26th, is pending. Also Friday, July 13th, showing pending. So if they're through the 26th, the July 13th one should have been responded to.
Christy, that was yours. Okay, I just sent that in.
Yeah, so 139925.
Is your ID. Yeah, he can pull you up. I just sent it to him. He's looking into it right now.
Can I ask about Stylebox real quick?
Yeah, real quick, Christy, the old ticket system shut down, but the new ticket system is linked. So the way you did it before links to the new system.
And that
So
was,
yeah, go ahead with Stylebox. Are you talking about the ones with the new wraps in them?
Yeah, we communicated that they would be up on the 26th. It's the 30th, and they're still not up.
Because we need people to sign waivers to them, and we're waiting for the waiver.
And
the
then
legal
there needs
waiver.
to be a communication to the field saying what's going on, because this is just like, there are a million things right now that we're saying we're doing and we're not delivering. And it just, small things at this point are becoming big things because they don't understand it. So at this point, I feel like the more information you can get to people and stay ahead of, like the better the field is going to be at this point, because nobody's trusting anything at this point.
well, and if they're not going to sign the waiver within 24 hours, then let's just pick the second runner-up or something and move
We're
on.
waiting for the waiver from Leslie. That's all. So we'll just put them up, and we'll just put them up. And we'll get the waiver.
Leslie, who?
Legal Leslie, our Leslie. Megan reached out to her and we've sent her a message. We just need a simple document.
I went through legal this morning and she didn't say that was on her list.
Okay, Megan should have copied you on the email. I can forward it to you.
Hey, Em, when we're doing your document, is it just for our personal orders or anybody in like our downline, anybody that we know of that's missing?
Anybody that you know of, anybody. Like even if you said, even if somebody, I don't know her first name or last full name, but it's like Mary S. Swenson, something like that. She lives in New York. I saw her on Facebook and she was complaining because her orders hadn't come through. Any information at all so that we have something to go try to track down and figure it out. Your orders, your customers' orders, your members' orders, anybody's orders at all. And I just emailed Leslie.
Okay, I just copied you on that too. So there was a meeting held today that I just asked that question. Ryan, you're on this email. Over orders in the system, what was really outstanding and what is not shipped. And there's a report from Kevin, and he went back to push out shipping updates that had shipped, and they were still showing packs slipped in the system so we could truly see where they're at.
Kevin had an email today.
Yeah, this just came through in response to the email I just sent from James. He forwarded a message from Kevin from 4 o'clock today.
I'm in my emails. I don't see anything from Kevin at 4 o'clock today.
No, you weren't on that one. You're on this one, though.
While
From
you're
James.
here, is it possible that we can commit to a weekly call? Because I feel like a lot of stuff is getting like missed through the cracks. And a lot of this would be alleviated if like we can just have like an hour call every day or every week where we're like, these are the problems we're seeing. And I feel like a lot of this you guys didn't even know was a problem.
I'm happy to do a call every week. It doesn't bother me.
Sure.
Ryan, are those support email addresses correct? Like the CA support at mnetwork.com?
I've never heard of a CA one. I always tell people to go.
Just send it to nobody.
I tell people just to email support because I know
Okay.
that everybody checks that one regardless of that one.
Yeah, James
Email
the
from
ticket
Emily.
from 4 days ago wouldn't have been answered, but he's checking on the one from the 13th.
Stacy, Leslie just wrote back and said she never received an email from Emily. So I hate emails. If there's something waiting and we committed to have something up by the 26th, let's pick up the phone.
He called her last week too. Sorry. I mean, and the email might be wrong, but she did say she left a message last week before I left town. But who knows? Maybe she got the number from Dave. On Wednesday.
Yeah. She said she'd turn it around tomorrow. She said that she hadn't heard anything at all about it. She said she'll have it tomorrow.
Okay.
Okay. What else, guys, before we get into comp plan stuff? Tickets, do we all understand tickets? Christy, I haven't given a ETA yet on when the new trial packs will be up for everybody. It's not going to be before the month end, though. I just we've turned them off on the M site as well, just till we get everybody caught up and everything shipped. Everything has shipped today, but I want to make sure everything's on the up and up. Let's see. I'm just scrolling through all of your guys' questions. Have you guys?
And the prices will be different on that when we put it up in August. Is that correct, Ryan? That's what I've
Brittany,
communicated.
you just ordered one on the M side or on the Jamboree side?
On the M side,
Okay.
like 5 minutes ago. While on this call, busted.
It'll ship tomorrow. Okay. Yeah, I didn't take it down. Okay. Okay, so Leslie said she'd have that for tomorrow morning. Okay, what else, guys? I'm hearing typing, but I'm not seeing any questions.
Oh, I'm just slacking back and forth with a few people.
Okay.
Do it here.
Okay, everyone. I want to be respectful about everybody's times. Is there any? Because commissions is going to be a little bit of a conversation, and I'd like to end with that if at all possible. So, is there any other questions that was in Leadership Tribe that we have not addressed on this call up to this point? Anybody? Speak now or forever hold your peace. Connie, are you going to get us dinner? Thank you. Okay, so we can jump into comp plan. Thumbs up, everybody. Awesome. Emily, was that crossing your fingers? All right. Okay. So there's a I want to address the 180. I want to address beginning of August 1st. I want to address your trees, and then I want to address some other things that we're working through. So one of the things that we had asked, and I know some of you guys have been really proactive and stuff, but we intentionally have not been training on M's commission structure as it is today, because we knew that there was going to have to be some changes that we were going to make that was going in order to make it a lot easier for you guys, one, to migrate your teams over, but two, we didn't want anybody coming over and feeling like that they weren't going to be making money like that they were making before. And the biggest part of that was the 30 to 40% on retail. That's different. M pays out 25%, and that's been from programming things, that's been anything over 60 or anything over 180. But we've intentionally asked not to get into any training aspects because we were modeling and looking at numbers and figuring out how we were going to do that. So let me just address this right out of the gates. 180, 60 PV from a retail perspective means absolutely nothing August 1st moving forward for you guys in your businesses. And after we're gonna make this change that I'm gonna talk about right now with Jamboree for the month of August into our plan. Our goal is that we'll move M members over to this new way of thinking in September. So Jamboree is going to be on this first, but M is going to continue with their 25% for the month of August. September, they'll be on the new way. The concept is simple. It is, you're going to open up your virtual store. So we'll take our commission structure and we'll dissect it into 3 segments. The upfront or fast cash upfront, then you'll have the residual pay, and then you'll have the leadership pay. The way that the upfront money will work is based on enrollments. You'll have fast cash associated with the various packs, and Stacy's working on that right now very feverishly. We've got the M packs done. We're working on the Jamboree packs. We could probably have something that we can announce as early as tomorrow to the Leadership Tribe, only to get your guys' feedback, and then we'll make it final for August 1st. Correct, Stacy?
Yeah. Derek's working with me on the $200 Style Essentials kit to figure out what PV we can award and if we can award fast cash, how much and how. So that's what we're working on. The other packs that we made tweaks to have been done. Those are finalized.
Okay. So that will be one component of the fast cash upfront money, okay, is your enrollment packs. Now, we are going to take off just for a short window, because we're going to be changing the numbers on the back end, the Beat the Box and the 8 and 8, just for a little while, because I want to show you guys, and here's why. So we're going to be introducing for the very first time your virtual store. So right now in M's plan, if I order 60 PV, I get paid 0 on that 60 PV that I order. That all goes up through the tree. I get paid 0. That is not the way that Jamberry works. You order $1, you get paid on it, right? 30 to 40%. So this is going to be the change. We're going to do away with that 25% retail bonus. And we're going to set it up so that you're going to earn 10 to 40% on anything that is sold or bought through your store. Okay? So the 25% that everyone's been training on or talking about, just throw that out the window. 60 PV, throw that out the window. 180 PV, throw that out the window. Because the way it's going to work is, and I'll type this in the notes as well, and these are just preliminary numbers, so I don't want you guys to get hung up on this in any way, shape, or form. But $0 to $99 is going to pay you 10%. I got that up on the board here. 100 to 199 is going to pay you 15%. 200 to 299 is going to pay you 20%. 300, this is retail dollars, Tara. This is retail dollars, the same way that you do it in Jamboree. It's not based on QV. 399 equals 25%. 400 to 499 equals 30%. 500 to 999 equals 35%. And anything over 1,000 equals 40%. Okay, so when we look at this, the people between $0 and $400 and $500 in your teams are going to look at that and they're going to think, oh, well, I was getting paid 30% before, right? So, but what we're going to ask is that we lowered the 2,000 to 1,000 to get to the 40%. And it scales up from there. So some people are going to look at this as a negative. Some people are going to look at this as a positive. And I can tell you that for weeks now, some of us haven't slept thinking about all of the different ways to be able to try to get this to work. And I feel like opening up your virtual store, getting rid of the retail bonus, getting rid of all of this other stuff. Yes, Tara, this will be weekly pay. This, I believe, is the best happy medium to make the most people the happiest. Nikki, we can totally look at this. I'd prefer to get this set up, and then we can look at the numbers and look at the peg rates with you and Barb for Australia and UK with Nick and others. And then we'll have the same scale working for your international market. So this would be in Australian dollars and so on and so forth. So from that perspective, is this what we're looking at? So Lisa, Melissa, you're asking, are we going to be taxed on this twice? So there's no way of getting around the taxing on the retail on the front end. But the only way that we can pay you back on your personal purchases is to do that from an income perspective. So the answer to that is yes, based on this scenario, but it's not a change to the Jamberry as much as it is a change to the M members. So this is all going to be a big change. So, but when you look at it from this perspective, the reason why we were getting around that on the M side is from 0 to 60, you weren't getting paid on that. All that was going in was qualifying you for a commission check, having 60 PV. Well, today, moving forward, August 1st moving forward, you won't have to have an order just like you don't with Jamberry in order to get a commission check, provided that you have a retail sell or a personal purchase through your there. So Tara, that 40%, the way that number is going to work, it's going to be a 4-week rolling calendar. So if you starting out in week 1, if I sold $200 in week 1, that week I'm going to get paid 20% that week. Next week I sell $800. I'm going to get paid not at the 35%. I'm going to get paid at the 1,000 because it's going to go back and count week 1. The week after that, I sell $50. I'm still going to get 40% because it's going back and looking 4 weeks. So as long as you have $1,000 in sales within a 4-week window and you keep that $1,000 in sales moving forward, you'll always be paid at the 40%. So it's a 4-week. Yes, Lisa, you'll be able to track this in your back office, so you'll be able to see, here's where I'm at, and this is what I'm getting paid at this week in those sales. The intent of having a 4-week rolling calendar is so that it incentivizes the teams to continue to sell week in and week out so that they can stay at that 40% average. So Brittany's so if you front load, you're going to get paid more. The reality is that outside of your first week of August, it's really not worth buying it up front, because the reality is your sellers, the people that are going to be in that $1,000 plus range, they'll always be at 40%. From the time we implement this moving forward, because you gotta keep in mind too, not only are we trying to take your personal businesses today where you're at and make it so that you're making equal to or greater than where you were, we also have to take into consideration all of those individuals who are going to be signing up today or tomorrow, right? How do we make it for them? So I would encourage not to front load this week. I would just encourage in your first week or 2 or 3 to get to that $1,000 and then just maintain that $1,000 in a 4-week rolling calendar, so that if you in this week, if I look back 3 weeks and I look at this week and the number of sales that I do this week, how much am I over my $1,000? Then yes, then I'm going to get paid the 40%. So that's there. So when you look back for us, are we all starting at 10% moving forward? Would you have to continue to sell each week because it's a rolling, like that concept? So Tara, we're moving away from the Jamberry. So this is one of the questions I was going to ask you guys. Do we pay your retail bonuses out midweek this week and pay that out and then start August 1st? Or do you want to stay on the Jamberry one through Friday and then start this on moving forward? That's a question for you guys. You don't have to answer it now, but we are moving to a new pay plan. And so we're not able we're not going to be carrying forward start fresh midweek, be done. If that's what you guys say, great. Clean cut, great. I'm fine with that. So what we'll do is we'll make it so that it's a 4-week rolling calendar from August 1st. So I'll get all of that worked out and we'll have that moving forward from that perspective. But I just wanted to get this out here, the whole virtual store aspect. And then we'll start teaching people there's 8 ways to sell out of your store. So like when somebody comes into the business, day 1, you have 8 ways to sell out of your store. Direct sales, meaning you build a team, party sales, trade shows and events, social media, online, retail, fundraisers, preferred customers. All of those 8 ways buying from your stores counts towards that 10 to 40% of what you're going to be able to do. Christy S. Stallings, the reason why we're going to a 4-week rolling calendar with this is because we're going to move to a weekly payout with your monthly commissions as well. And so the days that I would like to get to, and I don't want to scare anybody, is the race that you guys have and the stress and the struggles and all of the challenges that you have to get you to month end for qualifications. I want that stress and everything to go away. I just want it to be like based on weekly pay. So that's the reason why we're going to introduce this weekly. The other part will be monthly for a month or 2. And then when we are able to bring everybody together, then I'd like to move to a weekly payout. So a weekly payout makes it a lot easier. You're doing small sprints instead of doing a marathon to the end of the month, worrying about month-end close and doing all of the struggles and challenges that comes with that. So this is our way of being able to introduce people to a weekly payout in the beginning to get them used to that. Christy, you have your hand raised.
It also gives one more pay a year too, Ryan, that way. It's like one more monthly pay almost when you go to a weekly payout.
You're getting paid on 13 months versus 12 months. Christy, you have your hand raised. No, you don't? Did that make sense on the weekly side?
We'll have to do a training, you guys. I mean, because this will all be different. There are other companies that do a weekly payout like this. So it's going to be different. It's different than what you guys know. It's different than what M knows right now. But it's a good way to bring the 2 companies together.
Can I just make it really easy, really quick? And if you guys won't make fun of my artistic skills, let me just show you really quickly how this works. So I'm just going to draw the way that this works so you guys can understand this a little bit better. Okay, and then I'm going to go text. I hope somebody's mixing up a stick and not going to the bathroom. That could be awkward. Why won't it let me move these? Let me just type. Sorry, bear with me. It'll make sense here in a little bit.
Ryan, is there a minimum they're asking that people have to sell in order to be paid?
Not out of your personal store, no. See, and that's different than what M has. M has to do a minimum of 60 PV before they get paid.
What about for team sales, Ryan? So you're saying there's no minimum to get paid on team sales?
So that's going to be remember I said we're going to break the comp plan into 3 segments so that everyone can understand it a little bit easier. So the first part is the fast cash and your store sales. The middle will be the residual, which is your team sales, which I'll talk about here in just a second. And then the third one is your leadership pay, which is what we'll talk about here in a second as well. Can you guys see my cursor? Like, can you see my hand moving around? Like if I do that? Okay, so week 1, sorry this didn't work out the best like I wanted to, but week 1, week 2, week 3, week 4, week 5, okay? So we're all gonna start week 1 together. So all of our sales that we do this next week will count in our week 1 from our store, meaning our preferred customers, if we have any fundraisers going on, any party sales, any social media sales, any online sales, any of our personal purchases, all of that happens in this week, 10 to 40% will get paid on next week on, okay? Then next week, in week 2, it's going to look at not only the sales that we do in week 2, but it's also going to look back at week 1, and it's going to combine those two, and then that number is what will get paid on between the 10 to 40%. And then week 3, it's going to take all of the sales that take place out of your store that week, plus week 2, plus week 1, and combine that, and that's the percentage you get paid on that week. And then week 4, it's going to look at week 3, week 2, and week 1, all 4 weeks, and it's going to add those up, and that's what you get paid on that following week. Now, when we get into week 5, it looks at, so if we qualified, let me just finish that thought, then I'll come back to this one. So in week 5, it's going to count that week, week 4, week 3, and week 2, not week 1, okay? So basically in week 2, if I qualified for the 40% in week 2, I get paid week 3, week 4, and week 5 at the 40%, because it's looking back at your 4 weeks, and it's saying, okay, in week 2 I qualified for the 40%. Week 3, week 4, and week 5, all of those weeks added together counts for the 40%. So then I earn that in the next week. So what that's going to do from a build strategy as leaders, and every one of you on this call is a leader, from a build strategy, it's really simple and easy. Here's your target to get to this week based on what you did in the previous weeks to get you at that 40%, but not only get you there, but keep you moving forward. So I'm going to pause here really quickly. So Christy, this whole shipping thing has made me almost want to start drinking. She's saying rum and soul and rum over here. Christy, I'm sorry you raised your hand an hour ago and then the moment passed. I'm sorry. 100% of sticks. Sorry, Emily. Hey, I do know, and it was 2-day shipping. So your trial pack's on its way to you. Ranks don't matter in the first part, in the residual, in the fast cash and then the retail sales. No ranks matter. Ranks is going to count when we start talking about the residual pay and the leadership pay. So don't worry about ranks in this retail pay. So that we'll get to that here in just a second. What about on DL? So we get paid on week 1 multiple times. I'm not sure I understand that question. So if Melissa, if you would unmute yourself and then answer that question, that would help me a little bit.
You can ignore it. Stacey already asked it. Thank you.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, so what I explained was that, so like if week 1 was $199, you got paid 10% on that 99 for that week, Lisa. But that 99 counts into your week 2. So if you sell 500 in week 2, now you're up to 599 and at a higher percentage rate on your week 2 sales. Does that make sense?
Yes. And you know, and again, guys, not only are we trying to solve for the 30 to 40% that you guys are used to, we're also trying to solve for adding simplicity to your business. When you onboard a brand new member, here's all they need to focus on: opening up their virtual store and then using 8 ways, a variation of 8 ways to sell out of your virtual store. And you can earn 10 to 40% of whatever you sell out of your virtual store. So we make it really simple and easy. You make it, you're not doing a sprint at the end of the month. You're not doing all of this stuff. You're just making it so that every week, everybody understands what they have to do: party sales, online sales, social media sales, all of those things. We're just making it really simple and easy for them to understand what they need to do in order to get paid that week. As leaders, the dashboard is going to make it so nice that when I click on, Lisa's name in my dashboard, I can pop it up and I could say, Lisa, you're at $440 in sales. If you went and did another $50 in sales this week, you're going to get paid 35%. Might not seem like a lot, but would you rather get paid 30% or 35%? You know, and there's things that you can do to help your team to be able to because I believe that you stretch to hit a goal and then you grow into it, and then you stretch for the next goal and then you grow into it. And by doing this weekly pay like this, it makes it a little bit easier from that perspective of being able to do that. So Brittany, we'll send out the recording. Good luck at hockey tonight. Any questions about this portion? I'm still only talking about the fast cash and the retail sales. I just want to make sure, because I know there was some questions about, hey, can you clarify on M 25%? Is it above 60? Is it above 180? Doesn't matter. Moving forward, this is what we're going to, unless you guys have really bad heartburn around it. I feel like this is the best solution to help onboard everybody and there. You know, it is going to be a little bit of an adjustment because M members were used to the wholesale aspect of things, but it is going to, I think it'll be there. So any questions on this part before I move on to the next part? Okay. So this part of the pay plan will be available and ready for August 1st. So I know that we'd said the 1st of August, but if you guys all feel strongly, which I do as well, I think it needs to be a clean break. I feel like it needs to be there. Yes, Lisa, we are going to train on this. Stacy's going to do a training every 20 minutes, 20 minutes on after the hour, 20 minutes to the next hour, and then so on and so forth, Monday through Sunday, 8 to 8. So we're going to be, I'm somewhat being a little bit facetious, but this is going to be a big part of what I'm going to talk about on my road tour that I'm getting ready to go on. I'll be talking about this and training to this. And then we'll be doing live trainings. We'll do Zoom calls, which we will record and get the videos up. We'll get some of the other things out there, and we're gonna be doing on it. So we are going to be training on this pretty consistently, right, Stacy?
Absolutely. Yeah, we just needed the final. Am I muted? Oh no, we just needed the final decisions on everything, and we'll go out. We'll start with webinars, and we'll try to get something together. Maybe you and I on Wednesday. I'll be in there probably by noon. We should be back from here. Yeah.
Stacy's on vacation with her family. I appreciate you taking the time, Stacy. Did you send everybody else to go hiking?
They are out wandering the town right now. Yeah.
Awesome. Sorry.
It's okay.
Taylor, did she win?
She did. She got her pro card. She's a pro athlete now. She's an IFBB.
So you keep avoiding my question though. I know she got like in 1 or 2, but did she get number 1?
She got number 2.
Awesome. But that's still, how many girls were there? There was like how many?
300 in the bikini one, and there was 48 in her bracket.
That is awesome. Congratulations.
Yeah, pro cards are hard. If you look at these girls walk on stage and you're like, I'm sure glad I'm not a judge because I don't know what they're looking for.
Yeah.
She did command the stage, I'm not going to lie. So we were pretty impressed. It was awesome.
She channeled her inner Stacy. Sorry, guys.
I don't know where she gets it from.
Yeah, I know where she gets it from. I literally seen Stacy pick up Cam one day and shake the SHIT out of him. So I know where she gets it. Kate, so Tara, to yours there, we're not flying blind for the month of August. This is what we're having everybody focus on, which will drive sales, which will drive all of the other stuff. Now let me get into the residual side. Lisa, when you say everyone will be I see it's a smiley face with tears, but it's still tears. Is they good tears or are they angry tears? Hopefully they're good tears. I don't know. Here's the one thing that I will say. So I'm a lot older than everyone on this call. The one thing that I would say based on my experience is if you guys look at this as a positive, then everybody else will look at it as a positive. If you guys are unsure, let's have the conversation today about it. Or if you guys don't want to have a conversation with everybody else, I want you to call me on my cell phone tonight so that we can have this conversation, because Dylan's working on this as we speak. So I personally believe that individuals will look at it and say, well, 0 to 500 or 0 to 400, I'm not getting paid as much. But if they look at it in the 4-week rolling period and they get up to that point and they get up to the selling, then they absolutely can maintain that 30% moving forward. And that's another advantage of doing the weekly.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that it's a positive in my own opinion, but I also think that it's $1,000 less than where they had to hit to get to the 40% before. So Lisa, need examples, real examples, and the field want them too to help understand it. Just take your own personal sales in the last 4 weeks. And if weekly is hard to figure, look at what your personal sales are for the month of July. And then you are going to get 30 to 40% depending on what your personal sales were. And I don't know if, forgive my ignorance, I don't know if there was a difference between, like if you had a 35% price point or it was 30% or 40%. I don't know if you had a middle there. But I believe it's a positive. If you guys believe it's a positive, the field will believe it's a positive. And so we will definitely go live. I'm asking you guys again, please schedule a Zoom call as the leader with your teams and invite Stacy or I or both of us on your calls to train on this. Let us edify you as a leader with your teams and explain this. We'll create videos, we'll go Facebook Live, we'll do all of those things that we want to do, but I promise you there's nothing more impactful than us edifying you as a leader and explaining this and seeing that we're happy about this. So please, I'm begging you, I know that you guys were being very respectful before and wanting us to not take up our time, but please schedule a Zoom call with us and your teams, day, night, weekends, whenever, and let us get on the phone and explain this. We'll create some really simple PowerPoint slides that we can have. We can do them on a Zoom call. We'll video it. We can record it.
I think like the biggest concern, like we've been, and Stace knows, she was with us through it. When there's ever a change at all, the field gets paralyzed. And I don't know if you're quite used to the analytical mathematicians that tend to be in our downlines. Like I have asked like at least 6 M members to explain the comp plan, and not one of them could explain it to me how you guys get paid, which is great because they just laugh and say, I just keep getting money in my account and I don't ask. Our girls are not like that. Like they need to know everything. So the only concern that I have, not that it's a concern because let's just rip the Band-Aid off and be done with it, is that we're going to be presently working on a plan that the vast majority of the field is going to have no idea how to work that plan. So we're going to need like real quick, like focus bullet point, like things to get them moving, because the last thing obviously any of us want is to be paralyzed another month and a half while they're still trying to figure this out.
Right. So two points to that. Number one, I just want to hit Lisa's really quickly. It's up to $401 gets you to the 30%. So it's not 500, but to get to 30%, it's at 400. So it's It's not a big difference, but it's $100. Tara, to your point, everybody is expecting a change today, right? All of them. So change is inevitable because we're not staying on the Jamboree plan moving forward. So they all need to be able they all know or should know, unless, which is really crazy. There was somebody that even came to conference that was like, so it's great that Jamboree is going to keep the FADB, but can we figure out another charity for M? And it's like, but we're all the same. But anyway, so they should know today that there's a change coming, that we're changing our pay plan, right? And this right here of M members saying, I don't know how I get paid, they just keep sending me checks, is ridiculous, because it's not going to be that way moving forward. And I'll explain. We're going to make some pretty drastic changes. This is a pretty drastic change for M, but I'm going to propose another one here in just a second that is a pretty drastic change for M moving forward. But I believe I wouldn't be talking about it if I didn't believe that it's in the best interest of everybody moving forward. And no one at any given point in time should not be able to look in their dashboard and figure out to the exact penny of what they're going to get paid and what they need to do to get paid more. So Kelsey, yes, a lot of the M leaders have had a heads up on this to a certain degree, but not all of our M leaders yet. No. And two reasons. Number one, if we talk to you guys about it and you hated it, then there's no reason to get them all scared about something that isn't going to happen. And two is they're going to be on their current pay plan, and nothing's changing for them right now. So all of that's going to stay the same moving forward. So I'm just seeing a bunch of things pop up. Let me just look through these really quickly. Emily, yes, if you want to schedule something on Friday, let me or Stacy know. And on Friday, I'm flying. I have an early morning flight from Calgary to Seattle, but I'll be available after 9:30 Pacific time, and be more than happy to do a call anytime. Absolutely. I know that a lot of people have been looking at the M plan for months and thinking that was it. But I felt like we've been somewhat transparent around not training on it. Don't talk about it just yet, because we're going to have to make some adjustments in order to be able to move your guys' organizations and structure over into it to make it make sense. And so this part is pretty drastic change. The next part is going to be a little bit of a drastic change as well when we start talking about structuring. But again, it's not so drastic that it's going to negatively impact our M members either. Downline, can we set some group webs for Ryan and Stacy, or do you want your team alone, just trying to help? Lisa, I appreciate that, and I love you for saying that. I love each and every one of you for being so gracious and kind and thinking of our time. But the reality is that us getting on with you and your teams will have more impact than just trying to do a group one. So, because we want to be able to edify you guys. So let's see. Sounds good. I'll do Friday for sure. Reliefs to people to know. And that's the thing. I think the paralysis is just people not knowing, right? I think that's the biggest challenge, is just everybody not knowing, including you guys, right? Like I think that a little bit of like raw nerves to a certain degree, because you don't know, right? And when you don't know, you try to like put in like assumptions or conclusions or different things, and you guys have had a rough couple of years, right? Especially the last couple of months. So, and your teams have as well. So again, please use us to, one, take the heat off, but two, edify you, and three, train on this. We want everybody to be experts on there. I do know that people have been going out there and Googling and watching our videos and learning on the pay plans and all of those things. I get that 100%. Yeah, I know that. But when they see what we're doing, and I believe when you see what we're doing, I think that it'll make it a lot easier for you guys to not only understand it, but also get excited about what we're going to do. Because I know that what we're talking about doing is going to make it so much easier for you guys to build, but I also believe that it's going to make it a lot more lucrative for you guys as well. So is the same concept that the M plan was volume and not people jumping through hoops to hit a rank under you, as long as it's similar. Yes, similar sign. It's all volume based. It's based in our pay plan. And what I'm going to talk to you guys now is the virtual store is all based on your personal sales and purchases, right? That's it. The next part is all based on team sales. That's it. It's not so-and-so has to hit a certain rank in order for me to be this rank or this. Connie, when I was looking at your one of your posts when we were on the call giving Richard a pedicure, it was, I was looking through there and it was like, I've got the volume to be at a certain rank, but I don't have the structure to be at a certain rank. Frustrates me. Like, that should never happen. If you generated the sales, you should have that. They were getting 33% at $4.99. So it's that bracket. So yeah, at $4.99, one more dollar, they're going to be at 35%. So 0 to $4.99, they're used to being paid 30 to 33%. At $4.99, they're at 33%. At $500, they're at 35%. So again, there's going to have to be an adjustment. It's a new pay plan. I think that it's an adjustment for all of us, right? If the current Jamboree pay plan was working and great, I think I would have heard from a lot more of you that, hey, let's just keep our current pay structure. And so there's going to be some gives and takes, right? I always talk about, in any pay plan, every company has the same commissionable dollar that they're paying from. And there's really 3 buckets that you're trying to reward: the upfront, the middle class, and the back end. And how you reward those 3 different buckets and the money that you put into those 3 different buckets is going to create culture. It's going to create behaviors. It's going to create all of those other things. Let's see, they will hit 40 at 1K instead of 3,000. So that's huge. Need to see the whole plan. And then she would help that would help a lot too. That's not just one way they get paid. You're 100%, Christy. There's multiple ways to get paid here, and we're going to talk about that. Yes, if they keep their sales at a rolling 1,000, they keep the 40%. Keep the 1,000 in 4 weeks is huge. I get it. Help the bigger sellers. The ones that rack up our volume are the 1 to 500 people. So I will stop and wait to see how they're incentivized. Exactly. I think this is huge. I love it. So Lisa, just unmute your phone for me for just 1 second. The $1 to $500, are they only sellers, or are they people that have a downline or a team?
I'd probably say they're only sellers or the ones who are trying to recruit. Right? Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. So they're trying to recruit, they're trying to build, but they're mainly sellers that are getting paid on that, right? And so I asked Dylan, I don't know if Dylan's online. Stacey, we just check to see if Dylan's online. He was going to show me a number of people that had 0 to 500 in personal sales in a month. Let's just see if he's online to be able to answer that question. So again, it is going to be an adjustment, and some people are gonna be there from that perspective. So okay, let me just clear this. Okay. So I'm gonna draw again. Can you guys see my screen still? While I'm drawing this out, Connie, you have an August 9th in the evening for a team Zoom. Is that too far away? You know your team better than anybody else. So you tell me. We will be talking about this with the team.
Ryan, you wanted the number of how many are between 0 and 500 a month?
Yeah.
Okay, that's what I asked. I'm not sure if he's on, but we'll see.
So I know that all of you guys, while I'm drawing this out, are anxious for your structure. And what is your team's going to look like, and how is that going to fall, and who's going to be placed underneath who? So Lisa, when you're saying we pull our numbers every month, so I guess we'll all know each of our DL cells. So is it downline cells? Is that what DL stands for? Is there is that a title? Sorry. Again, naive, Ryan.
Downline.
Okay. Okay. All right. So there's been a couple of things, and I just want you guys to see where my mind's at right now. I was supposed to have got these numbers on Sunday, the modeling out. So this is theory right now. But this morning when I came in, I met with Dylan and the team, and they basically, he was looking at the wrong numbers, and so we were all sat down. He was out of the office last week, and so a lot of our communication was via text and email and voicemails. So he didn't have everything modeled out the way that I wanted. But there's three things that I'm trying to solve for. One is who gets business centers, who doesn't. It's been a struggle. Two is how do we make sure that we keep the volume that you guys are used to getting paid on high and tight to you guys so that you don't lose out in any of that volume. And three, from a structural standpoint, how do you make it so that it's easy for everyone to understand why they were there and why they were able to get there. So I was playing with this a lot Friday and Thursday and Friday of last week, and really came to a theory that I think that we could put together a structure that eliminated the need for business centers. And Stacy, let's see, manage participants. I'm going to go ahead and mute all. Okay, so I muted everybody. So if you want to unmute yourselves, you can here in just a little bit. So one of the thoughts or theories that I have is that we can eliminate the need for business centers, and we can also keep the volume high and tight, and we can take your current structures and structure them in a way where some people will have some spillover volume underneath them, but have it in a way that it's there. And now we're still modeling this part out, but there's two thoughts. One is that as soon as, so our pay structure, we still keep the 2x12. So that does not go away. However, as soon as somebody gets on your 8th level, down your left and down your right, you come over here and start another leg It's not a stair-step breakaway, so that you still are getting paid on all of this volume and getting paid on all of this volume. But now you start another leg over here that's going to be in the 2x12 structure underneath this leg here. But now you're starting a third leg. And as soon as this one gets down to 8, just a body on your 8th level, then you can come over and start a new leg. So here's the thought. The thought is that it's going to do two things. One, you have the ability to place people anywhere in your structure. So let's just say this person right here, they build out and you get down to your 8th level. You don't have to come over here and start building your third leg if you don't want to. Let's say you want to build over Fred, underneath Fred over here. You can still place anywhere within your 12 levels in your business. You can place here, you can place wherever you want, but if you wanted to, you come over here and start your third leg, and as soon as that one gets down to the 8, if you wanted to, you come over here and start a fourth leg. What that does is it does three things. One is your current structures within Jamberry, you're not going to have all of your leaders stacked at the top of 2 legs and then all of their volume pushing out of 12 levels, which we're sitting here looking at it and we're like, okay, if you guys were starting from scratch today, use the business centers, it works out perfectly, no problem. But what happens if you get all 12 levels filled out? There's no way to give you enough business centers to allow you to qualify all of those all the way across your 12th level to be able to capture that volume down another 12 levels. So the only way to keep your current structures up, and keep in mind, Jamberry today with all of the compression is only 18 levels deep. Some of you guys might think that's shocking. I'd heard it was as high as 34 at one point, but with all of the compression that's happened in Jamberry, it's only 18 levels deep right now today, the whole company, right? So now, yes, that's crazy, right? Lisa, it's only 18 levels deep. So now what happens is that if I wanted to start a new leg and there's nobody that I wanted to sponsor and place somebody underneath, because again, you're going to sponsor and then you're going to place. If there was nobody that you wanted to place them underneath and you had somebody on your 8th level on your left, 8th level on your right, now you can come over and start a new leg. And as soon as you get one person, and you could stack 8 people right in a row, I don't know why you would do that because now you're pushing that volume away. But if you did that, you could come over and start a fourth leg. And you can do that unlimited. And I'm going to stop here in just a second and answer your questions that are popping up. You can do that unlimited, provided you can't start a new leg until you have at least 8 levels of business in that leg. And then you can come over and start another 8th leg. What that does is it works like my bustier. It keeps the volume high and tight, right? And so when you do that, it's going to make it so that your pay level or your pay, and I'm going to suggest, and I'm not going to give you percentages on this call because we're modeling it out, but what I'm going to suggest is that that level 1 and level 2 and level 3, that the percentages are higher than the 5%. So that what that does is it incentivizes you for keeping that volume high and tight. So I'm going to stop and come over here and answer some questions. Stacy, if you want to unmute yourself and maybe you saw some questions. Let's see.
Yeah, there really wasn't a lot. It's just, I just explained that when you said the depth, that it's 18 levels, that's with compression. So every time we have a 0, we're pulling those people up from below. So that's where we get the 18 levels from. So yeah. Infinite width, yes. So and it's not 12 levels deep, Emily. You can start the next leg at 8 levels. But how far down are we going to pay, Ryan? Did you answer that part yet?
12 levels.
12 levels. Okay.
Yeah, we'll still pay the 12 levels. we would just adjust the percentages to be higher at top than at the bottom.
Right.
I know that somebody said that they like the idea of keeping the same percentage. Tara, like the same percentages all the way down, which is, again, doable. But the disadvantage of that, in my opinion, is that the workers are sharing that percentage, that bigger percentage, with other people in their team that might not be building a team or doing anything. So you're sharing that percentage. So what I'm proposing with this is that it's going to keep the percentages higher for those that are working, that's there. So, but again, this is Dylan's modeling this out. I'm hoping to hear from him tonight, first thing tomorrow morning. That's there. And the effects spillover as having only 2 legs benefit those people more, or am I confused? No. So see, what this is doing is right now, because M is forcing all of that volume down 2 legs, Nikki, there's people that never get spillover. So by helping people get to like the 8th level before they come over to this other level, and keeping the percentages higher up in the tree, up in the upper levels, what it will do is it will force people to fill out their trees more towards the top, which will give people spillover. Right now, because it's 5% through 12 levels, and then I can place a business center and then drive a whole nother 12 levels, because I can drive infinite depth, there's a lot of people that aren't getting spillover. And I'm going to go on the record for saying this again. And I've said it from the very beginning, and I've said it all the way through M. Don't use spillover as a sales tool to drive people to our pay structure. It's a benefit that some people will be able to have, but it's not a benefit that everyone is guaranteed. So when we use it as a sales pitch, a lot of people will look at that. No, it does not eliminate the spillover, Emily. It's what it will do. Again, you'll get the spillover more because it's keeping that volume, the percentages paying out up higher. It will naturally, people will want to fill out their levels where they're getting paid higher up top. So it's going to keep that volume high and tight, which I think is good. So you have a level 6 that is a boss, but the 5 above her are sloths. I'm going to talk about that here in just 1 second. But nobody's a sloth. They just haven't reached their full potential yet. So it's effectively on the spillover. Deidre said we were getting rid of business centers weeks ago and was telling my leaders about it. I honestly have no idea how Deidre knew anything about it, because I've not had a compensation plan conversation with Deidre in months. So I don't know how she would have known about it and talked to people about it. Weird. Yeah, because this is just literally conversation as early as last week. We checked and then told them they were staying, not going to lie. I feel like a jerk now, but hopefully it all comes out ahead. I have some dead weight above great people. So the business center concept, the only reason why we had business centers, I'm going to tell you the pros and the cons. Having worked this plan for 2 years now, the pros were that I could place a business center anywhere in my organization once I earned it, and then I could drive another 12 levels underneath it. The cons to that was there's some people that have 16 business centers in the tree. You have to qualify all the business centers with 60 PV. So you have to sit there and manage, where do I place the business centers? How do I pull the business centers out? And can I pull the business centers out? And I'm always gambling with a business center. I'm always gambling that somebody's going to be a hero and build and versus not. And you never know that until you have there. So there's another part here, Christy, that I'm going to explain in just 1 second that I believe is another reason that would eliminate the business centers. Okay. So let's say this person, and let's just use our current today volume, 60 PV. And this person has 60 PV. And this person has 60 PV. And this person has 60 PV. Okay. They're in the tree, they're ordering, but they're not producing. They haven't enrolled anybody. They're not producing team cells. They're there. They're just in the tree placing personal purchases and getting there. In M's plan today, it pays out all of those levels 5%. So if you get it spilled over, you're going to get paid 5% on that, 5% on that. Well, now on your own personal purchase, you're going to earn 10 to 40%. But what I'm going to propose as an idea is that this person, this person, this person, and this person who isn't doing anything, we take all of that volume and that compresses up and pays level 2 to this person. You guys currently have something similar to this in your pay plan where you earn on all of the volume between you and your first TM, and that would count and pay out level 1. So in our plan, what I'm suggesting is that all of that volume would compress up and pay out level 2. And the reason why it's level 2 is because level 1 is going to always pay out no matter where they fall in the tree. If they're your personally enrolled, okay? If they're your personally enrolled, they could be on your front line or they could be on your 100th line. Your personally enrolled would always pay out level 1 to you on their personal purchase. All of the rest of the volume underneath that person will always pay out the way that they're placed in the tree. So your level 1 is on all of your personals. Your level 2 is all of your placed volume that's placed down through 2 through 12. So the way that that would work is that all of this volume would count and would pay out your level 2. The way that you would determine the way that that would work would be on your team cells. What I'm proposing to get paid on your level 1, on your level 1 is $1,000 in team cells. Pays out level 2. That's just an arbitrary number that we're modeling out and looking at. The $1,000 is everything that you sell through your store and everything that your personal team sells. So basically, what would happen is that if I'm here and I look at this person and all they're doing is having an order, but they're not producing any of the team cells, they're not producing any of the other stuff, what's going to happen is that all of that down to the next person, this person has $1,000 in team cells. Again, your personal store cells and your team cells can count towards that $1,000. But between you and everybody down to the next person, that would pay out level 2. So all of that volume would compress up and would pay out your level 2. Again, what that's going to do is it's going to give people a target to shoot for, because now they're going to get paid level 1 and level 2. And then the rest of the levels will be determined based on team cells as well. It's not structured. It's not, I've got to have this person at 1,000 and this person at 1,000. It's not structured. It's just all based off of team cells. What you earn off of level 1 is, and again, we're just throwing out percentages. It's going to be somewhere between 10 to 15% of whatever your personals are. And we're looking at that now. But level 1 will always be your personal enrollments. No matter where they fall out in the matrix, you'll always have your personally enrolled will always pay out as your level 1. Level 2 down, we'll start looking at all of this other stuff. So I'm going to stop. Stacy, you're seeing some of these questions. Thoughts, questions?
Yeah, so it's basically, so it's $1,000 that you're always looking for, right? So it starts with you for your level 1. So you and your personal team, that's what, 1,000 and above, you're paid on that as level 1, down to the next person or team that has $1,000, and that's where the next level starts, correct?
Correct. Yep.
So level 1 is 1,000 too, Tara, that was your question.
No, level 1 you get, all you have to have is $100 personal cells.
Oh, okay, sorry, I misunderstood.
That's retail. Level 1, as long as you have $100 in personal cells or purchases, retail, will pay you level 1.
You'll earn on everyone who's in that level 1.
Yep. Level 2 is $1,000 in team cells, and team cells includes your personal store cells as well.
Sorry, I missed that first part. Sorry.
And again, this is a 4-week rolling calendar. Right now, when we launch it, it'll be in the month of August. If you guys love this would be the month of August, and then we'll go to a weekly as well. So, and then all we have to teach for the residual aspect is, see, here's the beautiful thing about it. From a residual aspect, all we have to teach is what they have to get to from a team cells perspective to get level 2, to get level 3, to get level 4, to get level 5. Yeah. And then all we have to do to calculate your check or your commissions is, okay, I'm at the 40%. I sold $1,000 in cells. I earned $400. Now let's go over and look at the residual. I have $1,000 in team cells. I'm getting paid level 2, and I've got, let's say my level 1, let's just say it's the 10%. Let's say I have $1,000 in level 1 volume. I get 10% of that. I get another $100. Now I'm at $500, but I have $1,000 in team cells. Now on my level 2, let's say it's I'm just looking at the board because there's like a million different numbers, but let's say it's 8%, right? 8%, and I've got $10,000 in volume. I'm getting another $800 there plus my $500. I'm at $1,300. I created the 1,000 error. I've done 10,000 total with my personal cells and my team cells, and I've got $1,300 in my pocket. I'm paying my mortgage, right? Like, those are the things that I want to get to the point where let's teach our teams, let's teach them how to get some points on the board and get a check by opening up their personal store. And then let's teach them how to grow their team cells. And then let's teach them how to do, and then once we get to 50,000 in team cells, then we get to take 5% of the global bonus pool and we put that into the global bonus pool. And at 50,000, you get to participate in that as well. So now I'm earning on everybody's volume as well. So, Stacy, you're looking at those questions. Do you want to answer some of those?
Yeah, so they're asking, one of them is, Heather's not understanding how the levels would work. Is each level when we hit someone below us who has 1,000 PTV, wouldn't that always be changing in terms of where the field next level is at? So each level is 1,000, right?
No. So each level is going to go up dependent upon each level will go up depending on your team cells. So just like, for example, in M's plan today, 60 PV pays out levels 1 through 4. Right. 500 pays out levels 1 through 5. 2,000 pays out levels 1 through 6, 5,000 pays 1 through 7, 10,000 pays 1 through 8, 25,000 pays 1 through 9, 50,000 pays 1 through 10, 100,000 1 through 11, 200,000 1 through 12, right? So Dylan's modeling this out right now. And again, I was expecting this on Sunday. Again, he was with his family vacation and he wasn't getting everything clear, so it's my fault. But I don't have the levels, and somebody was asking what the percentage was on level 2. Again, we're modeling that out. It's somewhere between 8 and 12%, right? Level 1 is going to be somewhere between 10 and 15%. So all of those percentages, we'll have that worked out once we have it modeled, and we're actually taking your June volume or May volume, I can't remember which one of those months, and we'll show you using this model, this is what you would get paid versus what you did get paid, and so forth. And Terry, you're right. Like, that's what we want them to do. We want them to hit, like, that should be their, like, if you go back and you look historically at other direct sales companies, there has to be a hero rank in the beginning that everybody's shooting for. And if we can highlight that hero rank and teach everybody to get to this hero rank, then they'll never go away. And then we could take those, that next percentage of people, because not 100% of them that hit that hero rank will want to move forward, right? But the goal is, again, build strategy, get them to that hero rank where we know that they're not going to fall off, and then take the ones that want to build and then get them to the next hero rank, and then help them progress based on there. So everybody every month is focused on getting to that 1 point. So, so Heather, I don't know what level 3 is. I don't know what level 4 is. Dylan's modeling that out right now. I'm just giving you guys the theory right now. So don't get hung up on the percentages. Don't get hung up on the other things. I'm just saying that I feel like this would be a really good way to get away from the business centers, because then we don't have to make a bunch of people angry because these people got to come in with a tri-pack and these people didn't, and so on and so forth. And we teach to be able to keep the volume high and tight. And with this right here, we are able to help the leaders get bigger checks sooner because we're doing that, Jenny, the I can't remember what they call it, but it's basically compressing all of those levels into one level and paying that out. So
kind of like a generation for us. But what has always crippled us is that once you have that breakaway volume, that volume gets taken away from the upline, who then is crippled by it and almost penalized that they promoted somebody out. Whereas this doesn't penalize you, that volume stays, yet you then get rewarded by having essentially a generation.
Yeah. So let's just say in that same scenario, this person right here, you were earning all the way down here, but this person, like here, you were earning all of that. That was paying out your level 2. But then all of a sudden, this person comes in and builds out $1,000 in team sales. And now, instead of getting paid on all 4 of those, you're just getting paid on this one. But because that person built up to the 1,000, more than likely that's going to jump you up to get paid level 3, and you're still going to get paid on that. So you're not getting penalized like you were before, where that volume was breaking away or you're getting a smaller percentage. You want this person to get to 1,000. You want that person to get to 5,000. You want to get all of those people get bigger team cells, because that's generating volume. And because we're adding the expandable matrix feature of the pay plan, you're going to keep that volume higher and higher. And because we're going to pay out a higher percentage of commissions at those higher levels, it's just going to make your check that much bigger. So it's never going to get deducted from you for a rank.
So there's clarification on what counts as level 1 PTV, Ryan. Is it their personal sales and their personal people up to the next $1,000 group, or whatever that number is?
It's looking at from you down to the next person, yes. And Emily, to answer that question, yes. This is still yes. You will be on M or a variation of M's plan in the month of August, 1,000%. The sooner that we look at this modeling and look at it, the sooner you guys will be able to look at your trees, the sooner you guys will be able to look at, so the intent was, and I asked Dylan this question very specifically this morning, was provided that your modeling comes out and we look at it and it looks great and it looks like it could work, how soon could we let the leadership tribe look at their trees? And do we have to bring the system down to be able to do that? Because if you guys remember last month when we were like pulling the volume out and putting it back in, pulling it out, it was because he was trying to figure out how to move all of that volume over. And I was like, I don't want to like show somebody's tree without the leaders having the ability to look at it first. And Dylan said specifically that you would be able to have the ability to look at your tree. We do not have to bring the system down, and it's there. Kelty, when we threw out the number August 1st, that was never a number that I always said, do not share that with the field. We're going to tell people the 1st of August. We're shooting for an August 1st date with you guys. And we can still, I believe, hit an August 1st date for you guys to be able to see your trees and look at all of this other stuff. But we'll be able to train on all of this once you guys see your trees, we see the numbers, and we see everything that makes sense from your guys' perspective. Yeah, this is going to work. And then if I'm an M member and I'm looking at this, yeah, more than likely I'm already at 8 levels, so I can go and start another tree. I'm going to like that, and so on and so forth from that perspective. So let's see.
So we'll start the store part on Wednesday, right? That's what we'll start training on, the 10 to 40%.
On August 1st, that's correct. Yes, there's still a global bonus pool, Christy. That is the third part of this, right? And that's, you get to 50,000 in team cells, and you get to participate in the 5% global bonus pool. So yes, so there's 3 parts to the plan. There's the upfront, which is your retail, everything that's bought through your personal store, and your fast cash when you enroll somebody from an enrollment perspective. And then there's the residual, which is what we're talking about now. And then there's the leadership pay, which is the 5% global bonus pool. So, yes. Store part 10 to 40%. Yes, starts on August. When we move over, will our level 1s we have now still be level 1 to us, even though they're our roll up? Yes, great question, Lisa. So if somebody has rolled up to you as a level 1 in Jamberries, even though you didn't personally enroll them, but the people in between there have quit and they're out of the system, they will count as your personal enrollments and will be your level 1s. Let's bring this up. How the hell are we squeezing our deals into 2 legs? Or are you guys going to build them wide for us? So yeah, people are getting that question, right? But we're not squeezing them into 2 legs. So by having the expandable is going to be able to keep that volume. All of you guys, if I have it my way, the majority of you guys will still have volume or room underneath for within your 12 legs. Hopefully I answered that question, Tara. Does everyone count in our PTB always? I thought he just had to be down to the next person with 1,000. Your team cells are always your team cells, and they always count as your team cells. That's not going away. That's the way it is in M's plan. So if I sponsor somebody, and they're 200 levels deep, all of that volume counts as my team cells, always. So, and we call that PTV, but this is something else that I think we should talk about here. We're doing away with all of direct sales and network marketing language. We're not going to talk about qualifying volume. We're not going to talk about commissionable volume. We're not going to talk about PTV. We're not going to talk about right leg, left leg. We're not going to talk about upline, downline, crossline. We're getting rid of all of that stuff, and it's going to be personal cells, team cells, and rank. That's it. Like we're going to get away of all of that there too. Tara, I was talking about in the beginning, I think you had to go do something really quick or something. The 8 and 8 and the beat the box, just until we get everything dialed in, we'll suspend that for the time, just for a little window of time. We will try to add some incentives in like that. We just, again, we're doing that 10 to 40% on the personal sales. We are going to have the fast cash, and we'll do some other incentives. Right now we're just trying to get all of the numbers to fit, and then we'll do some variations of that or keep those or so on and so forth. Yes, the bonus pools will be broken into parts again based on level volume like it was before. Yes. So the whole field will be paid on the M plan for the month of August. So the Jamboree field will be paid in either on the M plan or a variation of like this plan that we're talking about, Nikki. M people, there are no changes to their plan this month. But if all of Jamboree will be paid on M's plan for the month of August. Hopefully answer that. How wide will we be when we move over? That is the best way to keep it all wide, like 200 or more wide. No, because what it's going to do, Lisa, is as soon as you have a body on your 8th level, then you can start another leg. But in the beginning, you have to have bodies on your 8th level in 2 legs before you can start your 3rd. So we're not going to be 200 wide. Like let's say you're 200 wide today. With this structure, and again, you'll have the ability to come in and we'll have the conversations to be able to make this work. But if this leg is going to fall underneath this person, but you want it frontline and you have bodies on your 8th leg, like that's why it's so important that you guys, part of the leadership tribe, have the ability to look at your trees before we show it to somebody else, because there might be somebody that's spilled over underneath somebody else and you want them up closer and frontline, then you have the ability to do that, provided that you have a body on your 8th level to be able to make that work. So again, are we seriously 2.5 hours in this call? I'm so sorry, Emily, and you guys all have families, and I'm so sorry. Yes, Kelsey, it's so important that we get rid of all of that language, because again, the intent is not only to move you guys over from where you're at to this new structure, but we want to appeal to the 3% of the world's population is involved in a direct sales. 3%. We want to appeal to the other 97% of the individuals that there. And if we put it into terms like, hey, an Uber driver gets paid commissions per ride. He gets paid this. A car salesman gets paid a commission every car he sells. A sales rep gets paid commissions based on how many sales he creates. If we can get into those types of things, you get paid commissions based on moving products either through yourself or through your team sells. It'll make it so much easier. So the quick start to get him engaged quicker. Yes, I agree. So the 2x8 will fill up before the 3rd leg is started. Heather, so we're not filling up the whole 2x8. So 2, 4, 8, 16, 32, 64, 128. Those all don't have to be filled in before you start. As soon as a body gets on your 8th level in both your right and your left, then you can start a 3rd leg. You don't have to, but you can start. Remember, there's a placement feature in our plan. So every time you enroll somebody, you can place them anywhere within your structure. Now, if you want to fill out your 2x8 before you start your 3rd, you can. That's your prerogative, right? But you don't have to have that filled out there. There is going to be a 70-30 rule, because that just creates governors to make that work. So there is going to be a 70-30. The $1,000 in team cells, you have to have 500 in team cells, and then 500 can come from your personal cells or the other. You can only count 500 towards that. So again, that's just making it so that people don't just get in and then sit there and watch people fill underneath you. So let's see. Not filling, but getting on the 8th. Yes, you're correct, Heather. Hopefully your flight was a good one. I'm guessing it is, because you're watching this again. So as they're moving over all of our single level ones, they can go over anywhere. So your level ones. Okay, I just want to point this out as well because this is completely different than what you're used to in Jamboree and in M. This is a new concept. No matter where your personally enrolled fall, anywhere within your structure, level 1, level 2, level 1,000, they will always pay out level 1 to you, provided that you have $100 in personal sales. Okay? You'll always get paid on them level 1. Level 2 is going to start talking about the placement. So, again, the intent is to do 2 things. Simplicity and have a build strategy so that everybody that comes into the organization knows exactly what they need to do to get to the next level and to earn. We want to show everybody how to get to the 1,000 and then the 5,000 and then the 10,000 and then the 40,000 and then the 100,000 a month in income. We want to show them that step and that progress so that they know, hey, if I want to get paid X, I got to do Y. That's it. That simple. So and that's it. That's basically the whole pay plan. We don't have to talk about, if we go this route, we don't have to talk about business centers and like strategically placing them and qualifying them and 0 to 180 pays out. Anything above 60 PV, you don't get paid anything on, but 60 to 180, you get paid 5% on, and anything above 180, you get paid 25% on, and then it goes up 11 levels of enrollment, 2%, and all of that goes away. Personal cells, team cells. Personal cells, 10 to 40%. Team cells is going to be the 60% paid out through 12 levels at a variation of how the percentages work on each level. And if I can earn below 12 levels because that generational bonus compression will compress that volume up. And then every time I get 8 in my first 2, I start another one, get down to 8 peak bodies, I can start another one. But again, it's putting you in the driver's seat, and we're going to give you a plan to be able to do that. So, so yes, Christy, you're going to have you personally and all of you leaders will have the ability to look at your 24 active legs. And you can take your first active leg, which is going to be based on those 3 criterias, their highest paid rank in the last 4 months. Then it's going to look at their, Stacy, help me out with this. The highest paid rank. You're muted. I think I muted you. Sorry.
I think
so then it's going to look at their lifetime. It's going to look at their pay, and it's going to also look at when they joined.
Date of enrollment, but what was the third one? There was a one in between their highest paid rank and then.
Wasn't it their overall pay?
I didn't think there's Stacy and I like look at each other sometimes because we've talked comp plan stuff. Like, I swear, if I ever draw another circle in my life,
I know. It was when it was their recognition title first.
Yeah.
Then it was I thought we were looking at pay and when they joined.
Okay. Sorry. So Christy, in your example where you have 24 active legs, your first top left person will be your highest paid rank in the last 4 months.
Mm-hmm.
Your number 2 spot will be your second highest paid rank in there. And then it'll start looking at both yours and theirs, following that same criteria until you get down to a body on your 8th level. So some of your 24 could be spilling over underneath those 2 until you get 8 bodies. And then at that point, you'll have the ability to either say, I want to start my 3rd leg with that next person, or these 2 people live in Seattle together and I want them to work together. So I'm going to place that one underneath this one, even though it's below my 8th level, and then do that. So you'll have the ability to do that, yes. But you guys will have all of those things there. Join date is tough. Again, that's why the first criteria is your highest paid rank. And then we'll be looking at the join date. Please no date of enrollment because those people suck now. I'm going to move on to the next one. Join date, level, agree, Lisa.
It was personal enrollment, pay, and join date. Personal enrollment was the first criteria.
And then pay, and then enrollment date. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So now here's the really cool thing about this. And this is the thing that I think you guys should all start thinking about right now. So as you get your structures and as you get your organizations and we start to sit down with this, and we'll sit down with each of you individually and go through all of your teams before we do that. Then what we'll look at is we'll say, okay, based on your structure, how many people do you know who have either gone off to the wayside, who were great producers or great workers in the past that you want to bring back in your team? And you can say, hey, I'm starting another leg, or I've got this team that's growing and I don't have 8 bodies here yet. Again, they can't take precedence over somebody that's already in the tree and sticking around. We'll never allow you to do that because that's not fair to the people that stuck around. But let's say I'm starting my 5th leg and I've got 3 good, solid people that are there. Hey, Richard, I am starting my 5th leg. I've got 3 people that are in it really solid. There has to be spillover happening down to that 8th level. I would love to have you come back or get in or get started or get all of those things and put that there. Hey, do you guys care if I excuse Stacy really quickly because she has Taylor is still having hanger issues.
So she's gone. Her and Brett flew back to Vegas, but I have the 2 boys and Grace here.
Okay. Well, go eat with your family.
Flew back this afternoon, so that's why we were saying goodbyes.
Okay. Alrighty. Yeah, get out of here, Stacy. And we won't be much longer, so we'll just talk about you while you're gone, and then I'll send you the.
While I'm gone, and then you can call me. I'll probably won't have a reception for just about a little bit because we're going to go over to closer to Zion, but then I'll be back on.
Okay. Good luck.
Thanks.
Don't get by any like ledges or cliffs or anything like that.
Yeah, you need
you
for a while. I know.
Yeah.
Thanks, guys.
Make sure that Terry cancels your life insurance too. So he doesn't. Okay, she left. So my sponsor is a consultant, LOL. But then above her is Kara Smith. So hopefully the dead between us doesn't hurt. I'm sure that's all part of it. So here's the beautiful thing about what I'm proposing, Christy, is that Kara will be able to work directly with you because consultant D, in between you and her, is going to, consultant will pay out level 1 to her, but you will get paid out level 2 to her. And so she'll be able to have all of that there, and all of that volume is going to compress up. And if that dud is only placing an order but not doing anything, that dud is not going to be taking money out of the tree because she has to produce $1,000 in team sales in order to capture all of that she's getting paid on through you. So she would get paid on your personal sales as a level 1, provided she has $100 in personal sales herself, but everything else will be paying through that. So
question. It's kind of similar to that. So for instance, I'm just going to call it how it is in my downline. My level 1s suck. They're here for 3 years, but they still hang on for the culture. And then I have, so for instance, I have a level 1 who's an executive, but she's only an executive 3 out of 4 months. So her pay title is an executive, or she's only an executive 1 month out of 4 months. 3 months out of the 4 months, she's a lead consultant hitting maybe 300 QV. And my money makers, like my girls, my TMs and executives that I work with are her level 1s, 2s, 3s. So they're getting pushed down. And I think my concern is that we still have a sloth sitting here because she's going to hit that $1,000 in team sales because she has all the strong people underneath her, but that's pushing my volume down, isn't it?
No, it's not, because number one, she still has to have, she can have $1,000 in team sales, but the 70-30 rule, at first it's 50-50 all the way through until you hit, and I keep looking up at the board because we've just written out a bunch of different things. But like the 70-30 kicks in at 5,000, but it's going to be 50-50 up to the 5,000 in team sales. And so that volume, that generational compression is going to compress past her because she has to have built out a second leg and built out volume there in order to take that volume out of there. So, and if she does build out that volume, it's not hurting you because she's increasing her volume, which is going to increase your levels of pay. So that generational compression that you're getting on level 2, say it's level 2 that you're getting from her, but she increases her level because she wants to get paid on that for level 2. Now you're getting paid on that in your level 3, but she's increased her volume in level 2 so it doesn't negatively impact you. So again, this isn't a plan. Like right now, today, in M's plan, somebody could be sitting right there and either do no team cells or do the bare minimum of team cells, and all of that volume, they would be getting paid on that. And so if there's no one that can sit there and take up the volume with you just sitting there. Does that make sense?
I think I'm getting just hung up on the fact that if she's my level 1 sucks, I'm getting paid like 15% arbitrary number, but then the people below her are where my money makers are, but I'm getting paid like less and less and less and less the further down they go. Or am I not understanding that?
Yeah, so it's not getting less and less and less as the further down you go because you're getting that generational compression. So right now in Jamboree's plan, that person that's there in between your level 1 and them, aren't you getting paid from that person down to your next TM? And then your TM pays out your level 2 or whatever that is, right? So that same concept is happening here. The only difference is that instead of that volume breaking away and getting paid on a lesser volume when that happens, is that volume is going to stay where it's at and you're still going to get paid on it. So, okay, so I'm just trying to answer some of these questions. Define doing anything. If their DL counts, downline counts for them, they will get 1,000 in PTV or way more. So Heather, and I know you're on the airplane, but there's a 50-50 split to 5,000, and then it's a 70-30 split, meaning that they have to have built out a second leg all the way up to 5,000 that's producing. So like level 2, let's say it's $1,000. 500 of that can come from your personal sales and your store, but the other 500 has to come from your team. You're saying that's easy. But then the next level, let's just say it's 2,000, right? I'm not saying that's the number yet, but let's say it's 2,000 to get to level 3. Well, now they have to produce 1,500 from one source and 1,500 from other sources, right? You can only count 50% from one enrollment tree. So let's say I sponsored, well, let's do this easier. Let's say perfect example. Amy sponsors Connie. Connie sponsors Rachel. 2 powerhouses right there together, right? Then Amy sponsors Ryan, right? Well, those 2 powerhouses, because Connie sponsored Rachel, that counts as one enrollment tree. So Amy, up to 5,000, can only count that one leg as 50% of her total sales volume. The other 50% has to come from her personal sales and other team sales in order to equal that. So she could have a $1 million in volume with those two, and then a couple hundred with me, and she's only going to get whatever that is. So the 50-50 up to 5,000, and then 70-30 from there on out. So they can only count 70% of that from that side moving forward. So again, I was going to come back to Lisa. So I'm not asking because I'm at the top of the tree trying to understand it to move my team around. Then my next leader will move hers around so they'll be able to see it first. So there's when we look at it, Lisa, we'll have already put your team and your leader's team and everybody else's team. We'll have already structured those using that same algorithm. And then you'll be able to come in and say, okay, well, this one is actually a personal there. Like everyone underneath my 8 levels, I want to start it up over here, or I want somebody that's already moved up over here underneath. You guys will have the ability to look at that. And then if your leaders were like really having heartburn about something, we can look at it. We can make it work from that perspective. Again, the whole month of August, once we've defined this and start putting people's trees and stuff together, we'll have the ability to, I don't want to say be loosey-goosey and move people around and stuff, but we'll have the whole month of August to be able to look at structure and where people's trees and everything else. And then once that's there, it'll be set in stone and we'll move forward, and then we can start their building from that perspective.
Can I just ask a quick question about that?
Yes.
Okay, so that structure gets put into place and then I see it. I'll just use Jamie, and then Jamie sees the structure, but then she sees that I decided to, well, even though it strategically got put here, but now I want to move it over here, like that will hurt feelings.
No, so there's an algorithm.
Okay, yes, but you said we'd have a little bit of a leeway of.
There's the letter of the law.
Yep.
And then there's the spirit of the law.
Right. Totally.
The letter of the law is going to look at the highest paid rank in the last 4 months, and then it'll follow with those other 2 criterias.
Okay.
Right? So when you look at that and Jamie looks at that, what's going to happen is it's going to look at it and say, okay, from a build strategy, there shouldn't be any hurt feelings because, well, why didn't you place that group underneath me, or why didn't you do this or X, Y, or Z? Because the algorithm put them in place first. If you decide to take somebody out and place them somewhere else below your 9th level and you decide to come over here and start another tree, it's the same thing as if you were taking your current structure from Jamberry over and putting it into the tree. You just have all of those frontline people. So like I said before, and it's still true today, is no one is at a disadvantage because everybody that's underneath them today will still be underneath them in M's plan. It's just that some people might have some other people underneath them, which is great. It's just not everyone's going to have that, right? So let me just see here. So how does compression work with that piece? So Lisa could put Jamie as her 3rd leg. Jamie is not, to my knowledge, and I don't know if Jamie's on this call or not tonight. I think she had a dinner appointment or something, other plans. But Jamie's not your personally enrolled, right, Lisa? So because she's not your personally enrolled.
Oh, Jamie's a level 2 to me.
A level 2. So she would still have to be a level 2. Because
we have a dud between us.
You have, okay.
That just has been in a long, long, long time and doesn't.
Remind me never to get on your guys' bad side.
A dud sloth, I don't know. A consultant, what do we call her? Not someone not working, but she might start working. I don't know.
Yeah.
So Jamie would her and her team would be a level 2 to me.
Yes. Yep. But with the compression, the compression, that dud that's in between you guys will compress up, and Jamie will pay out from Jamie down. Will pay out as your level 2. Let's see. July, Diane, will July ranks count for the algorithms? Right now it's scheduled as yes, but if you guys want me to drop it and just use June and back, I'm happy to do that as well. It's entirely up to you guys. So, okay, that makes sense. It can't be based on July, but the goal is not to punish Jamie and her placement. But Jamie's not getting penalized because of that situation. Jamie's not going to get penalized because at the end of the day, Jamie's organization or team, she still gets. So she's not going to get penalized in one. There's no one's going to get penalized. And that's the thing. No one will get penalized. Period. If you have somebody underneath you today, they will be underneath you in this new plan. Period. No one's getting penalized. I think as long as May's and the algorithm will be okay. It's great months. Yes, that was. Again, guys, there's the letter of the law, which is what we have to program in from the algorithm perspective. And then there's the spirit of the law. You guys will have the ability to look at all of this when we get everything set up and in place. I promise you, we're not going to push anything live until you guys are like, thumbs up, this is good. Like, we are going to be 1,000,000% transparent through this whole process. I know I went dark over the last couple of days, but it's really just trying to like sit down and figure out what's the best solution or path forward for you guys. So there's some concessions here that M members are going to have to make with the way that they've built and strategized this stuff. If this is the direction that we move forward, we're not going to be running two different plans. I feel like this benefits the M members. I wouldn't do it if I didn't feel like it did, but I feel like this is going to, I feel like this is the best path forward for all of us. So I do feel like that this has gone on for a really long time and that everyone's probably like, we're going to be saying the same thing. So, and then the poor people that have to watch this recording back, I feel really bad for them as well. So let's do this. Dylan assured me, and he had the right numbers, that he would have the numbers tomorrow. Let me look at those numbers and look at some stuff. And if this is viable moving forward, then what I'll do is I'll post in here in the leadership tribe. I'll post, and then I want you guys to sleep on this as well and think about it. And then tomorrow, when we get the numbers and everything looks great, then we can get back together and we can talk about percentages of the levels and the volume to be able to get to those levels. And then Dylan, if everyone's like thumbs up, he can start working on your guys' structures as early as tomorrow so that we can get some of those out there so that we can start answering some of those questions. So, let's see. You will have a comparison based on this structure with the other structure. So, okay. Clear as mud? Connie? Clear as mud? Yeah? Okay.
Yeah,
all right.
I was listening from across the house. You know, I
know you were.
Not to add to this, but you know, we went through a crazy change in 13 and I just have to work through it. And I think so many of us will. And
yeah,
it's scary, but what are our options? And I'm just thankful to move forward. So it's like you said, we'll learn it as we go. I can't tell you how many times I had to say to Rachel, what's the difference between a senior executive and a senior team manager? I mean, we do great things together and we'll learn this.
Well, and here's and again, if you get nothing else out of this call tonight, take this away. We're not going to throw you into a pay plan and say sink or swim. That is not who we are. we're in this together. We're in this forever. And we're going to, there'll be grace and there will be all of those other things individually, not just from a company perspective. And I know that we've been painting this with a broad brushstroke right now, as far as like, well, we're going to force qualify everybody in June, and then we're going to pay you guys out twice on M volume, and then we're going to do a 20% whatever we're calling that for the month of July, and we're painting that with a broad brushstroke. But at the end of the day, we're not going to throw you into a pay plan and say sink or swim, deal with it. That's not who we are. We're going to work with each and every one of you individually to get you back to where you once were and get you beyond that point. We'll put together plans. We'll be on the phone with you every day. We're going to be working with you. We're going to be working with your teams. We're going to work with everybody to make sure that all of you guys have a future with this company. We're not going to throw you into this and say sink or swim, good luck, goodbye, right? Like, you guys are way too important as individuals to this company and to me personally and to the executive team. Stacy doesn't really like you guys, but I'm working on her to really do that. But at the end of the day, I shouldn't say that because she's not here to defend herself. She loves you guys, obviously. But we're not going to throw you guys into something and say sink or swim. So whatever fears you have, whatever concerns you have, please remove that from your mind. We're going to work with each and every one of you to get you back to where you were and back and beyond. So Lisa, you're saying 20%, no forced rank, correct? We need 700 QV and we can decide what we want moved over from M. Yeah. So July, that's July. So you just threw me off with the June. 20%. So we're going to take your total earnings, your weekly and your monthly for July, and we're going to add a 20% premium to that for July. So let's see. And again, Heather's right. It'll be so much better when you can actually see your people placed and you can see the percentages and you can see the volume. It's going to be a lot easier for you guys to be able to do that. So as one of my friends always says, show me the numbers. So, but with that said, one question, Terry, you've actually ran out of questions tonight. What all of this is existing on our, yes. So in August, you'll still be in your Jamberry back office on a new pay plan. So that is there. And guys, there's just way too much stuff. You guys love me, how I'm getting really good at not swearing anymore. There's too much stuff to move over to a new back office and everything else. That's probably going to be a September timeframe. But when we do, you guys will have access to our app and all of the other stuff to be able to make that happen. So, okay. If there's nothing else, I know you guys on the East Coast would like to get some sleep. But thank you. Thank you so much for being patient with us. Thank you for not being afraid to voice your concerns. And we will have an update on shipping stuff tomorrow. And we'll figure this out. It's a little bit more clunky than I had hoped, but we're still further ahead than where we could have been. So I'll take that as a win. So nobody upset me, Terry. No one upset. I sometimes speak louder than other times, but no one's ever upset me. I can't remember who I was saying this to the other day. The only way you could ever offend me, because there's underneath all of these layers of fat, I do have feelings, but the only way that you could ever upset me is if you don't talk to me. If you ever stop talking to me, that's the only time you'll hurt my feelings. We're partners in this. We've got to be partners in success. We've got to be partners in failure. We've got to be partners in frustration, and we've got to be partners in happiness. That's what a relationship is. And so I want you guys to always feel like you can talk to me about anything. So you'll never frustrate me. So you didn't upset me. No one upset me. I'm happy. I'm crying on the inside just because I wanted this to be so easy for all of you guys, and it hasn't been, so I apologize. But we're going to get there. I have confidence. I would put my corporate team against anybody's in the industry. So we're going to figure it out. We'll get it. We'll get people trained. We'll get people up to speed, and we're going to go there. So I guarantee you when I get to the warehouse tomorrow, orders will be shipping. So yeah, it's going to go good. So I love you guys. I appreciate you. And we're going to stop the recording, and I'll post this video, which is really long, in the group. So love you guys. And hopefully I get to see some of you guys on the road tour this week. And for those of you that we don't, I will miss you. So love you guys. See ya. God bless. Have a good night. Bye-bye.